You're listening to At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production.
And welcome into this episode of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. Last week we started our conversation with Brad Staggs from Mojo 50, and if you haven't had a chance to check that out, please feel free to do so. This week we get into what led Brad to Dallas, Texas, where he's lived in recent years, and we discuss his memorable run-ins with power tools, his UFO hunting, and being locked out of a hotel room while standing naked in the hallway. Yes, this is part 2 of my conversation with Brad Staggs on At the Mic. So, you've gotten me to, what, DIY?
DIY, so I hosted the home repair and remodeling show, and then we produced 3 of the 5 original shows they had on DIY. So I was either a producer or I did some video segments on those other 3 shows that we did at Reedland Productions. And there was another show called Decorating and Design hosted by Nancy Golden. Nancy Golden's son is, I'm having a Joe Biden moment, sorry. Her son, Nate Burkus. Nate Burkus had his own line of stuff at like Target, and back in the tsunami of 2004, was it Thailand? Remember that tsunami?
I just remember the town had a funny name.
Oh, yes.
What was it?
Phuket.
Yeah, Phuket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was where he was there with his boyfriend, and his boyfriend, remember, got washed away.
Oh, no.
Never found him.
No.
He did stuff, did stuff. And the weird thing was the initial tidal wave comes in, and they survived it. It was when the wave went back out.
Yep.
They let their guard down. He was gone. Oh. But anyway, that was Nancy Golden is his mom, and sweetheart of a woman. And I did a couple of segments on her show too. So I was actually part of all 5 of the original shows on DIY.
Okay.
And that was pretty exciting. And I thought I'd found a home.
Oh, yeah? How long
I
did you
thought
do that?
I had found a home. I was with DIY for several years. And, see, the thing about television is it's so secure. And once you find a place that you can call home, you never have to worry about them not renewing your contract or, not being fair to any of that.
None of that ever happens in this business, right?
And so I thought I found a hand, and I didn't. Then I went on to become the spokesperson for the Southern Pine Awareness Network, and then we started a little website called Tool School. It's Tool School with a K.
Are you still in Nashville and all this?
Yep.
Okay.
Still in Nashville, and it's a tool review site. It's still, we just resurrected it recently, so it's back.
And what is the website again?
Toolschool.com. Tool School with a K.
Oh.
Because we went to public school.
That's true. Okay.
See?
I got it.
See how you'll always remember that now.
TOOLSKOOL.com. And I forgot to ask you earlier, to give you the opportunity, give us where people can find you on social media and all the Mojo stuff as well.
At Real Brad Staggs on the on social, on the Twitters. There's a couple of Brad Staggs on Facebook. I'm the better looking one.
We'll totally be able to find that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy. I think it's actually on my Twitter bio. It's all, I think Real Brad Staggs is most of them.
Okay.
And then toolschool.com. And of course, there's Mojo. Mojo50.com is our radio platform that we continue to flog.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into the details around that. But right now we're at DIY, and then from there, what happened?
Let's see. From DIY, it was a Southern Pine Awareness. Then we started doing some corporate videos for Milwaukee Tool, Huber Engineered Woods, and they did a lot of these called sawdust seminars around the country, and it was where builders would go, and you'd learn how to do different building techniques. So building has been kind of in my blood.
Right. You've done a lot with your hands as far as woodworking and power tools. And
you can tell by the fingers.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What are some of the biggest injuries you ever suffered at the hands of power tools?
Oh, my left little finger is about maybe 3/16 of an inch shorter than my right little finger.
I see that.
That was the same accident with the power. Excuse me. That was the same experience with the table saw. That kind of took a little chunk out of this finger.
This is a good point in the show here where I take a picture, and so why don't I take a picture with your pinkies there, so we can see.
How's that? Does that look good?
Stop. Yeah, don't block your face with your pinkies.
Well, I'm trying to block my face with my fingers.
You pull them down a little bit. There we go.
Pull my what down?
There we go.
Pull my fingers down?
Smile.
Here's it.
Okay. Again, you're telling me that this device in my hand,
right?
it makes phone calls.
I know it's weird,
I
but
thought it was just a
it's
camera.
strange. And well, it's a lookup thingy too.
It's a lookup thingy.
It's a lookup thingy. It's a camera, right?
Yeah, they gotta come up with a better.
And it's a cash hog.
And it
will also suck the money right out of your wallet.
Right out your wallet.
And ruin your reputation if you're not careful. Yeah.
So injure your pinkies are
shorter.
shorter.
The two pinkies. What I do to this? Oh, I drove the tip of a screw gun right through my left ring finger, and that was fun. You know when you're pushing so hard on the screw with the tip of the screw gun and it slips off and it buried the tip of that driver right there in that finger, and that felt so good.
Do you remember the moments after these traumatic injuries in getting to medical attention?
Well, that one didn't require any medical attention because I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go in and the finger.
I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need that part of my finger.
I once cut my leg with a brick tie. It was on a wall sticking out. Brick tie is a little piece of metal, and they're very sharp, as evidenced by I just walked by it sliced my leg open, and I didn't realize it until I felt my sock was wet.
Oh my, no!
And so yeah, it was pretty sliced open. So I had at the time I told Beth, I said, just go grab some duct tape. She's like, we need to go to the emergency. No, just get some duct tape. So I just taped it together. I mean, that's all you really need is duct tape.
That's true.
But let's see. I did go for the pinky, and I ended up going to Vanderbilt hospital, and I remember they gave me morphine for the pain because they had to take the fingernail off.
Oh.
And the X-ray, you could see the little kerf in the bone. You could see right where the blade had gone through. So they had to go in there with a pair of dikes and go snip, and they snipped off the bone, the end of the bone, and the fingernail actually grew back. But it was pretty cool. And morphine, they give you morphine, then they give you something to fight the nausea, and I think it's the medication that they give you to fight the nausea that makes you hallucinate, which is really weird.
In all my injuries, I've never gotten the hallucination drug.
Just go cut your finger on a table saw, and that'll get it for you.
I tried to slice 3 fingers off in the dumbest way possible with hedge trimmers. I remember the doctor saying, they're going to give you shots in between the fingers there, numb the pain. And I told him, and I said, okay, but they're not going to do that until right before you come in here and start sewing these fingers up, right? And he's like, yeah, we'll be fine. I said, I'm serious, man. It's going to wear off. Every time I go to the dentist, for example, I get the Novocaine, and it's like they have to give me triplicate of what they give normal people.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. So sure enough, the most painful part of the journey was the needles in between the webbings of my fingers that day. He comes in there after taking forever, and I can feel the stitching happening. And I'm like, doctor,
calmly,
I'm going to need more of whatever you just shot in between my fingers. Oh, really? You could feel that? And I'm like, yeah, this is why I said, please get ready to do this. He's like, well, I've already started this one on. I'm just going, So he had to keep sewing that one before he decided to wait and have him put the stuff in. My point is, I don't have cool stories. I do stupid stuff. I mean, it sounds like at least you were being productive in building things.
Ironically,
Except for walking by, that one wasn't so good.
Well, yeah, exactly. But when I cut my fingers real bad on the table saw the first time, I was actually building props for a video series that I was doing the next week on tool safety.
Now, wait, did you have the visual aid of a bandaged finger?
I did. That's what I learned. It's 2 fingers on my left hand, 1 finger on my right hand. So I learned at that time, I had bandages when I was doing all the segments. So I learned at that time to point with my little finger on my right hand and my first 2 fingers on my left hand. So the whole time I was pointing like this, and I was able to hide them the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, It was fun. That was a good time.
And so after you did those videos, then what was the next step in your broadcasting career?
Let's see. What did I do after that?
Now, were you ever a grocery bagger during this time?
Well, no, I was
back in the day.
Back in the day, back when
we skipped that one.
After I worked at the yogurt machine, again across the street was Gemco, which I realized because Gemco is such a cool store. I mean, it was really cool.
That's a West Coast thing, then. Huh?
No. Here, they sold them off. Well, you probably have because they sold them off in like the late. Somewhere in the 90s, I think, maybe late 80s, whatever it was. But they sold them to Dayton Hudson and they became Targets.
Ta-da!
So
now hang on a second, because there was a department store. I don't know. I thought Ridgeway or something growing up became Target.
Well, they may have. Dayton Hudson may have bought those too and turned them into Targets too.
Wow, okay.
But Gemco was, they took the same concept because Gemco sold everything that Target does today, including groceries. And so it was pretty neat. But I was a bagger at Gemco, and I was part of the grocery baggers, or the grocers union. I've been a part of 2 unions, neither one of which have done me crap for good. Not even health insurance. So yeah, I was making like, gosh, what is it, $10, $12 an hour? Just and I can still bag some mean groceries.
Did you go on to be an NFL Super Bowl winning quarterback and a Hall of Famer?
Yes, I think I did.
Hear that's the next step in progression of
I
career
may have forgotten part of that, but I think I did.
Okay,
yeah, I could have been a running back.
Oh.
I did. I did know. I did play youth football with Bruce Hill, who I think he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A couple other big teams. So I've played with some people who actually went on to be fairly successful in the NFL.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've touched greatness. I have brushed by greatness at several points in my life. Almost, the brass ring was right there.
It's right. It was right
so there. Right there, but unfortunately, my finger was about 1/4 of an inch too short to grab it.
You're right, by the way, about Bruce Hill, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bruce Hill, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I keep, every time you're going down your broadcasting path, I just keep, and by the way, you did start off saying that this business, and I do agree that it is who you know.
Yes.
But if you're a jerk at anywhere along the line to, Johnny Coast, or Mike Lundy, or Rachel Donahue, or Alan Reed, or any of the other names I wrote down, then your chain of progression gets broken because it then does become who you know, right?
Well, then you just have to con certain other people. Because I've known people in this business who are real class A's, and they, for whatever reason, they always end up managing. They rise to the top of companies. How does that work?
Look, I don't know, but I'm just saying that you made an impression on people. And so you used that.
Please hire me.
No, you used. Please. You were able to take that.
You were that guy that begged, right?
That adage of it's who you know, and apply it successfully to keep progressing.
You're nice. You have to have a little bit of talent in there somewhere.
So here is the moral of the story, boys and girls. Okay, if you're nice to people in this business, then you keep finding places to work. If you're a jerk in this business, you manage those people.
Yes.
All right?
That's it.
Okay.
That's pretty much, that's it in a nutshell.
So we got there. Yes. Okay. Now, after this, because now we're probably in the mid-90s or so, somewhere in there ish. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I think we've
I'm sorry. We've got to be early 2000s. That's what I meant to say.
So, yeah.
I'm not good with math, man.
No, I'm not either.
You understand.
Yeah.
So after the videos, after you chopped off your fingers and stuff, now how are we? We're still in Nashville.
Yeah, still in Nashville. That's about this. Let's see. That's the time that we started doing tool school and started to do the.
You said doo-doo.
I did, didn't I? The early 2010s.
Okay. Yeah. How do you describe that? That like you can say the aughts.
I know.
And then you do the teens.
I guess.
But then when you apply it to something like this, well, that gets us into the teens. That just sounds weird, right?
I think the 2010 because it was back even in the 1910. Yeah, because it's like the early 1900s.
So do you say the 2010s? That just seems weird.
Yeah, I know
you'd
it
say
does.
the 19 teens. Yeah. Maybe you'd say it like that. The 20 teens.
That's a long time ago.
I mean, again, we're showing our math prowess here.
Yeah. So around 1910.
I want to figure out another way to say this.
If you come up with that slang term, I would imagine you'd earn a lot of money.
Probably.
Isn't creating slang terms, isn't that pretty profitable?
Yeah.
I've heard.
I've come up with some, but then I forget them.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, I came up with Trump monkeys.
Trump monkeys.
Trump monkeys. It's you've never heard of a trunk monkey?
I have heard of a trunk.
All right,
monkey.
So the trunk monkeys were the successful commercial series out in L.A. But I one day was here and I came up with Trump monkeys, and I went to buy the website, and it was like if it was available, and TrumpMonkeys.com, and so I for one thing I forgot it was in the cart. I didn't know how to log in. Whatever.
Oh no!
I went back and it was like $10,000. It was like $20 when I started.
No.
I know.
You know what? That's some algorithm that saw that somebody was interested and said jack up the price so when they come back.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. So I could have been a contender. That's another brass ring. My finger was just a little too short to grab that one.
Man, that's probably the one you chopped off.
Yeah,
right?
it could have been. Early 2010s. I think that was another low point. I worked in radio in Nashville for a while. This was back in the early 90s. WLAC. Except for a couple that aren't W's.
Right, you cross the Mississippi. It's a fun fact, right? About radio. Most are W's to the east, which makes no sense.
Right.
Because to the west of the Mississippi, it's K's.
Right.
But
with a couple of exceptions.
With some exceptions, right?
Like WBAP in Dallas.
Or,
KDKA Pittsburgh.
KDKA Pittsburgh, yep.
So, I don't know what, they were drunk. But I was at WLAC when I first, after I left TNN, that's what it was. I did afternoons at WLAC, met Haas Allen, who was a legend in broadcasting there. And Haas Allen had the distinction of having kicked Elvis out of the studio one day.
Oh, I like that story.
Never going to be. Haas Allen had a voice started way out here. And he could, Haas Allen.
Why did he kick the king out of the studio?
I think the king was being annoying. He tried to drop off a record, something or other. And that happened all the time. And so he's get out of
here, kid. You're not going to be anything.
Right. Yeah.
Get out.
But what a great guy. Great guy.
Sounds like it.
But the thing is, you never knew you were working with a legend until like years later. And you realize, wow. He really was. He was a legend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that at some point in time, people are going to look back and look at you and go, "Wow, I worked with a legend."
I'm guessing that's not an accurate comment.
You don't know that.
But
you don't know that because you'll be dead.
I got to tell you, there's a guy I used to work with, and his name is Brad Staggs.
Right.
And he is a legend. I worked with the Brad.
Right.
In fact, he's the real Brad Staggs, especially if you're on Twitter looking for him.
Coyote McLeod is another one. I worked with Coyote McLeod in Nashville, and he was he's a radio legend. In radio circles, he's a legend.
Was that his birth name, Coyote?
I think so. Oddly enough,
Wow.
No, I don't. What was his real? Anyway, Coyote McLeod. I watched him drink a fifth of vodka straight one night.
I'm not impressed, but go ahead.
It's it's like, why do you do that to yourself?
Really? Is that bad?
And I guess he apparently did that a lot.
Okay.
I think he ended up dying of cirrhosis.
Whoa.
Yeah,
see, I got a late start on alcohol, so I can knock back fifth of vodka.
I drank 2 bottles of Mad Dog 2020 once.
Oh, wow.
I woke up and all my clothes were wet. I think I fell in the pool again.
Yeah, that's what we'll say.
Good times.
You fell in the pool.
Good times.
Okay, so we're in the 20-teens.
Mm-hmm. And
how are you ever getting to Dallas, man?
Well, it's funny because I worked in, the reason I brought up WLAC is because I worked with a woman who did traffic at the radio station where I did afternoons, and her name was U-Turn Laverne.
Yes.
Laverne Vivio.
Uh-huh.
And I remember she and her husband, Mark, they had twins. The first kids they had were twins. And oh my gosh, those kids, huge. They were like giants.
Oh, really?
Well, her husband is, I think Mark is 6'8", or he used to be before he had his hip transplant.
Wait a minute, she's tall too.
Yes, I know. They're both, they're monster tall.
That explains why their kids are...
Their kids are like, huge. I remember when those kids were little, and they would take them to parties. It was like, because they were little hellions.
Those are the kids that in Little League they check. That's why we have to check birth certificates.
Yeah,
because Laverne's kids are playing in this league.
So Laverne and I go way back to the early 90s, and it was, now we jump back forward to the early 2010s. It was like 2012, 2013, somewhere in through there. And I get a call one day, and it had been a dry couple of years in Nashville because TV production had dried up there. So I was, working the streets, whatever I had to do to make a buck.
Did you make bank roaming the streets?
You find a talent, you stick with it.
That's true.
That's all.
That's true.
So I was one day driving somewhere in I don't know where I was driving. I get the phone call. Laverne calls, says, "Hey, what are you doing these days?" And I went, "Oh, how much time you got?" I'm working down in Dallas at the Blaze, and they're looking for somebody to do commercials. They're having auditions. Can you come down? I went, "Sure." And so I said, "Yeah, I'll come down there." And so they flew me down, and I did a little audition. They said you could pick one of the products that they had, and all you had to do is talk about it for 90 seconds. Like, really, what's the catch? Really, just got to stand for 90. That's it. And I remember going into the audition and standing there for 90 seconds, and they said, "Do you want a teleprompter? Or you just want to?" Just let me rattle off some stuff. And so for 90 seconds, I stood there, and I don't know, was it the Constitution game? It was one of those. And I remember just a few key points. And really, when you do this sort of thing, it's just talking. How hard is talking? We've all met people along through our careers, though, that for whatever reason, they can't.
Well, you just asked the question, how hard is talking? And all I could come up with was, so it's obviously harder than it looks.
Just talking. That's all you're doing is just talking. Just stringing words after one right after. But you know what I think it was radio that gave me the practice, because in radio, especially doing music radio, remember you had the old analog clocks? So you had those, you see the second hand going around. Yep. So you had a physical concept of time.
Uh-huh.
And I really think that's a lot of because in digital clocks, you don't have that physical concept. You've got this
number.
It's a number, which is hard to put into a physical. But when you see that, okay, I've got that much, I've got that much space until you can see the progress the little sweeper hand is making.
And it was very difficult in elementary school and, middle school, high school, growing up, watching that clock on the wall.
Right.
Slow.
Right. But you gave you an idea. Okay, I've got that much space to fill. Mm-hmm. And so you just, in radio, you just watch that little hand. You keep talking. Okay, that hand's getting close to the top of that. And as soon as it gets to the top, I need to stop talking now. Hmm. And I think that gave me my a sense of timing. And
you had a good audition here.
And it did. And they, they were really fast to call me back in about 5 weeks. Which,
that sounds about right.
Yeah. So it was, I later learned it was kind of true to form. But anyway, so they called me. They said, you want the job? And I was, sure, I'll come down there. And it was truly, it was really, the audience, amazing people. Mm-hmm. Amazing people.
Agreed.
That would do anything for you. I mean that seriously. It's really amazing how loyal these people are.
Yeah, and you did so much there at the Blaze with the commercials, and taking care of the building, obviously with your background, mm-hmm. And then eventually Doc Thompson and you had this
crush on his voice.
Great idea
for years
to start up your own thing, which is known as Mojo 50.
Mojo 50.
Tell us about that and how you guys got that started. Because when did you first meet Doc? I guess is my question.
I met Doc for the first time in 2013, 2012.
Okay,
right through there, and I had listened to him before because he had been on WLW, mm-hmm. And he'd fill in. I think he used to fill in on the weekends. They had a show called The Weekend.
Yeah.
I think Mike McConnell did it a while, but I remember Doc just had that voice.
Yes, he did.
Just that. It was like a perfect radio voice. And I remember I would listen to him and just fabulous voice. I had a crush on his voice before I met him. And he was just such a smart guy.
Yep.
He was really smart, and he gave a crap about people.
Yeah.
He really did. He really wanted, and it wasn't just an act. He really cared.
I was just about to say, he was unique in that he was not only very talented in this business, but he was also a real person.
Yeah.
And he really cared.
Yes.
And that is the one thing that separates him from so many people mm-hmm. that I've worked with in this building, is that he wanted genuinely to see other people around him succeed.
Yeah. His goal literally when Mojo, there were about 5 of us that were the starters of Mojo 50. His goal was to provide a platform for other voices. We talked about this a lot. He wanted to be the senior statesman who could basically wanted to retire, be able to go sit down on a beach somewhere, drink a beer, and call into a radio show every now and then. But he wanted to create the platform for other people to have these voices, which is the beauty of Mojo 50, because it is a platform that is it leans libertarian. We don't tell people what their opinion has to be. on the platform, there are 2 rules, and you can't take the Lord's name in vain, and you can't use the F word. Well, you can, but you'll end up paying $25 to a charity.
Oh, wow.
I remember when Doc, we were on the air one morning doing something. He I think we were sampling tequila because there was a local #1 tequila. And it was, so he was telling a story about being in the audience at a either a Gallagher or a Carrot Top thing. And he lets the F-bomb go. And I looked at him and was, hee.
There you go. Children's Hospital's
funny,
getting some money.
It was pretty funny, but no, and that was the beauty of the origin of Mojo 50 was to create a platform for other voices, for upcoming talent, and it has succeeded in that aspect. We still would like to make more money, but wouldn't we always?
Right, and you host the morning show over there, which is
now.
What 8? Yeah. It used to be.
Now it's so much easier to be Ed McMahon.
Right?
Dog, that
Agreed.
Dog, that was funny.
Agreed.
I have to.
No. So 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that's Mojo 50. And where can people find that other than mojo50.com?
Gosh, you can get it on iHeart. You can find it on YouTube. We have a channel on YouTube. We have a Facebook page where we've now got the video. We had it and then wasn't, and we didn't have it. Now we have it again. And you can see, I mean, you really don't understand how exciting behind the scenes radio is until you watch it. It is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is. You think sausage being made is exciting? This is this makes sausage look boring.
And let's point out that you and I fell in love with radio when we thought no one would be able to see us.
Be in a little room by myself, just yammering away, and no one can see you. And now they can see me.
And now they can see you.
Right.
Now you got to put pants on.
I know. Well, see, I'm behind the desk, so you really can't tell.
Hold on. I'm going to check this out, y'all. I'm afraid to look under this table right here.
I would be too if I were you. There's
shoot, the green light blinded me, and God saved me from having to experience that. Yes. Okay,
there's a cat down there.
Yeah, there is a cat down there. Is he sleeping?
Yeah, that's where he spends most of the time when he's on when the show's on.
What a sweetheart. Yeah. Is he more partial to you or Beth? And tell us about Beth.
Beth is at one time she was the senior producer of Glenn's television program. She's probably the best producer I've ever met in my entire life. And that's not just because I have to make her happy. It's true. She's an incredible producer, one of the hardest workers that I've ever met. And I mean, she puts me to shame.
But you knew her before the
I did.
I've known
her for a long time.
Okay.
But she's an incredibly hard worker, and she really is kind of the producer, or at least the booker on the morning show, the Daily Mojo. So she just, I mean,
having worked alongside Beth, I can say that she is one of those few people that pays attention to every detail and doesn't let things fall through the crack, which is...
And she actually cares.
Yes.
Which makes me sick.
Right.
It's just, she pays way too much attention. I mean, she works... She just she puts me to shame.
Now, I'm not saying that you ever do have free time, but in theory, if you did...
If I did.
What would you do with that free time?
Hookers and blow first.
That you can share with the podcast.
Woodworking. If I'm not rehabbing old magic tricks, I am hiding.
Yeah.
I just hide in the workshop pretty much, because then no one can find you, and you don't have to worry about this human interaction.
Right. You have a fridge out there?
Yes.
Does it have beer?
Yes, it does.
Does you have a place to sit out there?
Yes. And there's a backyard if you have to pee.
I mean, I think
or cut your hair.
I think we're good here. Well, I don't need access to cut my hair.
When you go out there, you take the trimmers just like I do, and you stand in the backyard.
I see. Yeah.
And you're. I mean.
Well, that would mean that you are able to grow it. Is my point.
Oh, I can't grow it either.
So what is your favorite music to listen to?
There's some good new music. The latest is retro postmodern jukebox.
Yeah, what is that
stuff?
What is that?
They take like rock songs and AC songs, and they do them in like a 20s version.
No way.
Have you not heard them?
Not at all.
Oh, postmodern jukebox is amazing.
Oh, I'm looking into that.
It really is wild. I mean, they take songs by Ozzy Osbourne and they'll do them in like a jazz style. It's really, really cool stuff. Plus, I like early 80s, the Cars. Mm-hmm. The whole punk Devo, That was a great era in music. You know, they don't make music like that anymore. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we had the Ben Miller Orchestra.
No.
And
I thought you were going to do that voice and say, we had Quiet Riot.
We had Quiet Riot back in the day, and that was music back then. Metallica. Although Metallica, when they did their little thing on Jimmy Fallon with the toy instruments.
I'm not familiar with that either.
They did.
What is my problem?
Was it Calling
Enter Sandman?
Yes, Enter the Sandman. As they do it with like, the toy piano and everything.
I gotta find that. That sounds good.
It's really good.
What's the last song you played on repeat?
I don't do repeat because my short attention span. But on Mojo 50 we do Earworm Wednesdays. Yeah. So we just I choose songs that I like to kind of get into my ear. What was the last one that released? Gonna Catch Me Riding Dirty. It's a rap song, but it's for whatever reason it just sticks in my head. Mm-hmm. Riding dirty.
Do you have any interesting talents that you can talk about on the podcast? That
I can do this thing with my arm.
Clean
I do this thing with my arm.
Oh, little fart noises.
Yeah, the fart noises in my arm. I can make I can stick my lip up on my upper teeth.
Oh, that's good.
I can do that.
That's real good.
I can do that. I can sound like I can speak like the Queen of England. I can talk like the Queen of England. You wouldn't know. If you didn't look at me, you'd think you were talking to the Queen of England.
That's right. I'm closing my eyes. Yes, and boy, he's knocking it out of the park.
I am the Queen of. Hello, I'm the Queen of England.
So, Your Majesty.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, you in the front row. You have a question.
It seems like your job is like kind of irrelevant. Is that?
Yes, I've thought that, but they continue to pay me, so I will continue to take the check. Okay. Next question.
Okay.
So see, those are some of my talents, and I do a Mean Jeffy. First of all.
Oh, that's good. That's real good.
I could do it with him. And
that's episode 3. If you'd like to go back and hear Jeffy, because that was spot on. Okay. What is a? Oh my gosh!
How do we top that?
Don't ask this question.
Go with your gut.
No, my gut says this has been fun. Have a good. No. What is something that people don't know about you? You wrote, "I don't like wearing pants," which is accurate. Which is why I refuse to look under the table. Thank goodness there was a green light shining.
Well, technically, though, people know that because I make no secret of what is something people don't know about me. Mm-hmm. I'm introverted. That's the funny thing.
No, that's true. No, people in broadcasting are. Yes, I am as well.
Pat Gray is a perfect example of an introvert.
Yeah,
he's all loud and audacious on the radio, and you meet him, and he's like, "Hey," and that's on a talkative day. I don't like parties.
Yeah,
I don't because I'm socially retarded.
Mm-hmm. I've used that phrase to describe me many times.
I really am. I don't know how to do it, and I have a problem with loud noises. I can't hear in a party. There's so much noise, and it may be a distraction thing, but I can't, to the point where I'm talking to somebody, I can't understand what they're asking me, which distracts me from even trying to be in the conversation with them. And so I can't hear, and it really is frustrating. And then I get mad.
Yeah,
and I throw coffee mugs, and
it's game on.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say that's it. I'm actually an introvert.
There's something to be said for that because so many people in this business are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really weird. It's weird. You wouldn't believe. It sounds like
a psychological profile there. I'd rather not explore.
I'm strange that way.
What's your earliest memory?
I think I remember when my mom would put the playpen upside down over me.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Well, I think
because you would probably climb out otherwise.
Yes, so they would put it literally. They would put me on the floor. They put the playpen over the top of me. Which isn't that child abuse now?
Probably.
I think so. So you can't do it anymore. I should really sue them. I should sue my parents for the emotional damage it's done to me.
You should.
And
then when you're done winning that case,
right,
you'll get my $6 million from Burger King.
Well, they're dead now. So
Who in your life has had the biggest impact on you? I think you mentioned them earlier.
Did I? Who? I can't remember what I wrote there.
So much impact. I don't even know his name.
Well, there have been a few.
Well, let's see if who comes to mind is who came to mind.
There are a couple of people. Doc Thompson did have an incredible impact on my life, but so did a man by the name of Ted Wells.
Mm-hmm. That's who you wrote.
Okay. Ted Wells is he's a lighting director. He was a lighting director for the Nashville Network. He lit the Today Show. He does Family Feud. He won an Emmy for the Olympics when they were in Greece. He did the opening ceremonies, won an Emmy for that. He did the world's largest lighting project. I think that was in China. I think it was the Yangtze River or whatever. They lit a mile of the river.
Wow.
They had to order lights from around the world. Anyway.
They didn't just make them right there in China?
They didn't, strangely enough.
It seems
I know,
like
right?
the shipping
They make
costs
everything
would
else,
be-
right?
Yeah, they make viruses.
It's contaminated now. I can mention it because I was in the past. But I used to sit in his office at TNN, and he was like I almost say he was a surrogate. He was like a counselor. I still talk to him. He and I used to go UFO hunting. He's just cool. He was like my Mr. Miyagi.
How do you...
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah, okay. But how do you go UFO hunting? Like, do you just know where they're going to be?
You're hunting, and your prey is UFOs. And we've seen flying semi-truck.
Wait, hold on. Okay, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. But I feel that you go to where the UFO was previously.
Right.
But
there are hot spots for UFOs. You go to some hot spots, and you wait for something to happen.
Huh. Because I guess... Okay, so there's places where just recurring stuff happens. Okay. So,
I'm glad you're wearing. By the way, I'm glad you're wearing pants right now with that pose. If you were wearing a kilt, it would be awfully.
My back is hurting. I wanted to stand up to finish
this. I gave you the comfortable stool.
Yeah.
And by comfortable, I mean the piece of wood.
There's splinters in my butt cheek.
We spare every expense for guests here at the Desert Air Motel and Convention Center.
So I want to hear about the flying semi-tractor trailer.
We were in Alabama. I think it was outside of Fife. And that at the time was this fairly active hotspot for UFOs. And we were with the mayor, I think of Fife, and a guy who lived out in this shack in the middle of nowhere, and he had puppies. And I remember these puppies were running around this shack, and they were pooping on the floor. It was a weird time. But we were standing out front of his little shack, and he said, "Oh, every now and then you see these." And all of a sudden, when the Jake brake on a semi truck, when they pull up next to you, and you hear this. Brrr,
yeah.
Looked up, see what looks like a semi truck because the light pattern was rectangular, going down what it looked like was a road. But after it kind of went behind,
as the guy is saying, sometimes you see. What was he saying? Sometimes you see
the lights and stuff in the sky. And so I said, "Well, wait a minute, is there a road up there?" And they said, "No, that's where the hill falls off. It was above the tree line." But it was really dark, so you couldn't really tell what was over there. So we drove over to where it was, and at that point, you're overlooking like a valley, and there's an abandoned Air Force base down in the valley that they hadn't used. I mean, it hadn't been used in decades, I guess. But it was for all intents and purposes, it was a flying semi-truck, complete with that noise. I have no idea what, but and to this day, we still have never figured out what it was.
And that was in California?
That was in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Alabama.
So when were you in Alabama in order to experience this?
Well,
you were
Alabama's right next.
UFOs.
Yeah, it's right next to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Tennessee's. You could drive top to bottom of Tennessee in 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Unlike Texas, where you have to drive for a day and a half just to get out of the state.
Just get out of the metro area of Dallas, Fort Worth.
Right.
Where in Alabama was this?
Fife, which I think is, I want to say it's down 75.
Mm-hmm. No.
Is it? It's outside of Chattanooga.
I'm just going to say that 75 isn't in Alabama.
Isn't it? Oh, that's in Georgia. You're right. Alabama. It's Fife, Alabama.
Okay.
It is, and that's Fyffe.
Mm-hmm.
Fife, Alabama.
So I'm curious now. Yeah, it's up there, but it is in the north. The northeastern part there, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out if it's anywhere near.
It's in DeKalb County, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
It was incorporated in 1956. In the 2010 census, the population was 1,019. It's at Sand Mountain. Okay, yeah, it's located on top of Sand Mountain.
How is Sand Mountain always coming up on this podcast? Because Chad Prather was a preacher in Sand Mountain, Alabama.
There you go.
You are telling me about these weird experiences in Sand Mountain, Alabama. My grandmother is from Sand Mountain, Alabama.
There you go.
I don't like this.
See?
Is too weird.
This is
too weird.
it's Serendipity, which was a decent show when it was on television.
Yeah, but was it as good as a show as California Hot Tubs? I heard that was
No,
a real good one.
I'm pretty sure that was the name of that movie.
Real good movie.
California Hot Tubs. If I just had the pecs, I think it was called. Was it
Is it a good rental? You think?
Hollywood Hot Tubs. That's what it was.
Hollywood
Hot Tubs. It was 1984. And let me see who was in
just
it.
to be clear, you weren't in it.
I was not in it. It was Paul Gunning. Donna McDaniel was in it. Michael Andrew.
Okay.
Stafford Morgan.
Never heard of any of these people.
Neither have I. Remy O'Neal, Kat Shea, Edie Williams.
Brad Staggs.
Yeah, no. Jules Shepard was in it. Mark Costello was in it.
All right.
Ann Walker was in it.
All of these people.
Oh,
this
incredible.
is the only entry on their IMDb page.
Yes, exactly.
And their IMDb page.
That too. Jeff Eagle was in it. I mean, he was in The Booger Man too.
Has there been a decision point in your life where you're like, man, if I had made a different decision at this point, your life would have been radically different?
Marriage 1s through 3.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, just marriage 1 or 2 or 7.
Wait, how many have there been?
I lose track. They all kind of look alike.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Here's the thing. The everything happens for a reason. I really believe that. And you are where you are because of the series of decisions that you've made. So if I went back and changed any of the decisions I've made, I would not be sitting here talking with you.
Which, of course, is the highlight of your life. It's all
absolutely.
led to this moment. And I'm happy for you.
You, the cat, me.
It's a good time.
The bell.
So tell me about your most embarrassing moment. I'm going to set this up for you. You are at a hotel. Okay. You're locked out of your room and you have no pants on.
Correct.
Do you have underpants on?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Do you have a shirt on?
No.
You completely buck naked?
Yeah. It.
Is there a janitor's closet somewhere? You get
how
a
did I
towel?
get the towel? It was a towel. I think it was the.
Oh, you did get to a towel.
I did. I think it was the. I found a cart in the hallway.
So hold on, step back here. How did you get into the hallway naked?
There's so many ways you can end up in the hallway of a hotel naked.
Okay,
so many.
But for the purposes of this story,
let's just say maybe I wasn't wearing any clothes when I walked out the door.
But you decided you're like, it's time to go sightseeing.
Oh, come on! How many times have you decided to go sightseeing? Realize you get out of the door, out of the hotel, even realize, crap, I forgot to put on my clothes.
I'm going to count this up here. It's never happened for me.
See, that's why you and I are
lived
different.
A shallow life.
That's why you have a beautiful family, a beautiful wife, a nice home, and we all make decisions in our lives that may not be the smartest ones. But I did end up in a hallway of sans clothing. I was not, at least in flagrante delicto.
That's what I was going to ask you. You had the towel with you.
I did. I somehow had I can't recall how.
Right.
But it wasn't a towel. It was not like a big oversized. It was one of those where it's like Steve Martin in The Jerk when he has to have the lamp and the dog.
Okay. All right. In other words,
the dog would have been a better cover.
At least you didn't. There were no fully naked steps in the process of trying to find a towel. It was with you from the start.
Somehow, yeah, I had the.
That's good. That's
I
good.
mean, I'm not going to say there was alcohol involved, but
So
if you suggested that there might be,
how far were you from the front desk?
several floors.
Oh no!
And
how many people did you pass on the way to the front
luckily,
desk?
it was very late at night.
Okay.
So there weren't a whole lot of people. But when you get to the front desk and you are fairly
inebriated and naked.
And you're trying to ask for a key to a room, and then they look at you. Do you have any ID? Do I look like I have any ID?
But wait a second. Why are you about to go sightseeing in the middle of the night? That's what I don't understand. Because that's how you go sightseeing.
Define sights.
Well, that's what I thought you meant.
Define sights.
on
I
your way
mean,
out
there's
the door.
so many things that you could be going to look for around.
So hold
I
on.
was younger then. I'm older than that
So
now.
the front desk, did they give you a difficult time trying to
I
get
think
back?
they did. I think so, and I think that they did it appropriately. And because if I had been behind the desk at the front desk and me had come up to the front, I would have given a hard time to me too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I purposefully avoided that word.
yeah, well,
the first time I brought it up.
I would have given me to business.
So did they act like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I can't seem to get this key to work for you. Give me just one moment here.
It did. It
Was
felt
this-
like a lifetime that they were.
See, thankfully, I'm guessing you said you were really young, right?
I was. This was.
just say really young.
I was really
It was
young.
before smartphones, right?
Oh, way before
I mean,
smartphone.
just right
way,
before that.
just I could have called if I'd only had a phone.
No, what I'm getting at is at least nobody was there videoing.
Yeah, there was nobody. Yes,
Think about
yeah.
that. Growing up now,
Could have taken.
you
Yeah,
can't
no.
escape
No.
anything like that happening
See,
to you because
I
it's
had
going to
an
be on a
angel.
part of the record forever.
I had an angel on my shoulder. I had somebody was looking out for me. Yeah, that was an embarrassing moment. Yeah, you really don't want to end up with a fig leaf as covering going to the front desk of a hotel. It's just it's uncomfortable.
Right.
Even for me, who doesn't mind being
Pantless.
pantless. It's
Which again, I'm not gonna confirm this ever.
You never know.
Not gonna look, especially after that story.
It's the surprise of things that.
Not interested. Are you hoping to accomplish something in your life still that is out there that you're like, man, I got to do this before I die?
Bucket list-ish thing,
Yeah.
or here's the thing: if I can be a part of making Mojo 50, this sounds corny, but if I can make it, if I can be a part of making it successful, simply to help Doc leave his legacy, I will consider that a success.
Yeah, it's a good.
I really would, because it would be very easy to just go, this is not going to work, and leave. But it's that.
And he shared that vision with you.
In
Great detail.
Yeah,
in great
so,
depth.
yeah.
Because you guys were, for lack of a better phrase, you guys were business partners.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
Mojo 50.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy lived with you, if I'm not mistaken.
He spent some time here. It was funny because I've never seen a person eat a pizza. If you ever wanted a piece of pizza, if he ordered a pizza, if you decided you wanted a pizza, you better eat a piece of the pizza before he got his hands on it, because he would. I've never seen anybody eat that fast, that much in my life. And he attributed that to growing up in the Thompson household and with other kids and having to, you were either quick or you were hungry. I've never seen somebody eat as much or as fast as he did. And he did make a mean.
Jeffy, a friend of ours, Jeff
Even
Fisher.
he doesn't eat that fast. He really doesn't. It was amazing how fast Doc could eat. And it was like a vacuum. You go back for a second piece of pizza, it was gone.
Give us some great memories about Doc that you could share.
He's a great practical joker. As a matter of fact, there are still magnets on the refrigerator in the Desert Air Motel in the kitchen that are turned upside down, because he would come into wherever you were, he would leave a little something. He would leave. He would either turn things upside down. He was a practical joker, and he just liked to be able to leave a little piece of him behind.
A little token, yeah.
Yeah, a little token, a little something, just for you to discover later on.
And go, wait a minute.
Right.
This is the Doc Thompson calling card. That's what this is.
It was just he had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Loved that sense of humor.
Yes, sir. Any regrets in your life? Let me back up. Any regrets that you want to share with us?
Marriage 1 or 7. I can't remember which one. Again, I don't know. I don't think regrets are. Well, I do have one regret. I wish I had gone into the service at some point. I wish I had joined the Air Force or the Navy or something. I do regret that. But other than that, no, I just thought, because we're where we are for a reason. Mm-hmm. Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes the reason is you're stupid and you make bad decisions. I have to consider that on occasion. But no, I really don't have any regrets aside from I wish at some point I had joined one of the armed forces.
Okay. Well, might have had a completely different story then.
Travel to foreign lands, meet new people, and kill them.
All righty. Very good. Very good. Anything we've missed or anything you want to cover here before we
Not
say
fully
goodbye?
clothed.
No, I'm not going to verify. Brad can vouch for the fact that I have not, during this entire conversation,
Put on a stitch of clothing.
Thank
you.
Wait, what? All right. So thank you so much, Brad Staggs, on social media at Real Brad Staggs.
Yeah. You can find me everywhere.
And don't forget
I'm everywhere.
Mojo 50 from... I had it earlier.
I know it's a time zone
10
thing.
Eastern time.
Because it's
weekday
7
mornings.
to 9 Central. So
Yeah, the hour.
I know,
and
it's
then
just really
carry the one.
confusing.
It's just not
In Tahiti, it would be 1 in the morning.
Oh, yeah?
I believe so.
I think in Guam, it airs tomorrow.
Yeah, it does.
That's
Unless you're listening to the podcast, in which it's aired yesterday.
And where can people find the podcast?
At iHeart, anywhere you get your podcast, which is Stitcher, Apple, iHeart.
And it's in the title of the show?
The Daily Mojo.
The Daily
The
Mojo.
Daily Mojo with Brad Staggs.
Brad Staggs.
Me.
Thank you so much for making time. This was fun.
Where's my check?
I told you to wait until we got done with the podcast to ask me that.
Take my maraca.
Yes, sir.
This has been At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production. Look for At the Mic Show on Twitter to connect.